We are talking today about the 3 R's of digital marketing. So let me give you a little a little background here. We we're thinking about what's a great topic for September, which is back to school. We came up with this idea of what are some items, reading, writing, arithmetic, that are going to help you to improve your website presence and do so very, very quickly and in a very tangible way. So the promise I'm going to make you, just to get us started, is you're going to leave this session with at least 3, and I'm kind of hoping 5 very actionable items that you can do right away to your website that are going to make it better and that are going to sort of increase conversion and really help you to improve what you're doing on your website. So who am I and why am I here to speak on this? My name is Erica Dickstein. I'm the Chief Insight Officer at Spring Insight. I have been working in consumer web almost as long as there has been consumer web. I went from business school to AOL, and have pretty much been working in consumer web since then. So this is an area that I know very well, and it's one that I really, really love. I'll get off the topic of me, but I will say what I really love about what I love to do most is take big concepts and work with small businesses on figuring out how to integrate those concepts and apply them to their organization. So we're really excited to chat with you, and and I hope that you'll stay to the end. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of our tools, which is the most underrated tool that we use, and one that I hope that you'll all take advantage of, because it's something that we that I think is another way to improve your site in real ways that you'll be able to act upon. So Spring Insight, my company, what makes us a little bit different? We are a strategic website strategy company. We don't believe that there's a such thing as an accounting website. We believe there's websites for individual organizations, and that's what we do. Whether it's websites or marketing, we create strategic online presences for organizations. So let's get to the topic. 3 R's of digital marketing: reading, writing, and arithmetic. So as we started the month, this was actually an interesting assignment. We decided we were going to do a blog post about books that inspire us. And I have to tell you guys, I'm gonna out myself here when I say this. I'm a copious reader. I read a lot of books. So it might be surprising to you that when we decided to do this as a topic, I was kind of freaking out isn't exactly the right word, but I was apprehensive because I don't read a ton of business books. It's not my specialty. But I started to think about, well, what are books that I read or have read that have inspired me in different ways that have inspired me and have led to changes in my business or changes the way that I have done my business. So here's an example of 4 books that fit this. So Why Fish Don't Exist. It's an amazing book about somebody whose goal was to categorize all fish. And it's a lot of twists and turns, and you don't really expect what's happening, et cetera, but it's really about grit. Founding Mothers is really about what it's like, how you can lead without being the person in charge, how you can be the spouse, but still really lead. 5 Days with Westmore, who is, who as many of you know here in Maryland is actually a gubernatorial candidate, takes one single event, the murder of Freddie Gray, and looks at it from a number of different perspectives and sees how different people see these different things. And then Lab Girl is about the things that happen that you don't even know that are happening. And now you're wondering, okay, well, I'm here for digital marketing. Why is Erica talking about books? And the reason I'm talking about books is because each of these individually over the course of the year were things that, whether it was in a very straightforward way, it led to me better understanding a client or better understanding content, or in more of an indirect way. These are all books that changed, that led to content, and that led me to sort of, to created opportunities for us in creating content. So I bring that up. What might encourage you to do is think very broadly about the content of your site. People are not only coming to your site for very specific things. They are coming for a much bigger sort of set of things to look at, and letting yourself be inspired by, whether it's books or other things, even just walks in the woods, to come up with content. Content comes from everywhere. The Why Fish Don't Exist very directly led to a blog post that we wrote on our website about continuing, sort of grit and sort of staying on top of challenge. So what I'm saying is, it's not just business books, it's all kinds of things that lead to content on sites. What are the books? Just think about what are lessons that you've learned, and how can you take and put your own spin on that information to give to people who want to hear things that you have to say. Next, we're going to talk about writing content and copy that serves your business. So, content and copy are used very interchangeably very often. And there is a slightly nuanced difference between the two. Content is written to engage, and copy is written to persuade. Now, very often, something can be content and copy. It is persuasive, and the same piece. What we find more often with what we write is that something will start out as content and it will go to copy, and it's really relevant. It's really a little bit picky to point out the difference. But the reason that we're identifying it is so that you think it through when you're thinking about your content. What is this content, and what is the purpose of it? This content is, this content that you're writing here, content, maybe a blog post about something that you do. It probably is content, but you don't want to write anything that isn't also persuasive, that doesn't have a call to action, that doesn't have some things that are going to drive conversion, because clearly whatever you're creating is something that you want to, that you're using to sell your business. So let's talk about some writing tips about how you should be thinking and approaching content and copy for your organization. Number one, being authentic. Knowing what your voice is, and really making sure that voice is integrated into any content or copy that you create for your organization. For those of you who are familiar with the Spring Insight blog, you know that we tend to be a little bit on the snarky side. We tend to sort of be funny. That's my voice. It's, even when I do not write the blog, it is written very much in my voice. We have clients for whom we write that are government contractors, that are in financial professions. They cannot get away with that kind of voice. So just figuring out what is the right voice, and keeping it authentic, making it scannable, hugely important. Writing for the web is very different than writing on paper. whereas you can, whereas people read very differently. They are scanning down. So making sure that you're using bullets, that you're using lists, that you're making it very easy to be able to scan and get to, including clear calls to action. You guys, if you leave this webinar and you take absolutely nothing with you except for this, then I will feel like I have done my job if I can get this one, in there. Every single thing on your website needs a call to action at the end. Hey, if you liked what you read, sign up for our newsletter. Hey, if this is interesting to you, sign up for a time to talk with us. Make sure that, and some people think, well, but it's in our footer, it's here, it's on every page. No. As your last paragraph, having a call to action that tells people, if you enjoyed this content, this is the next thing that you should be thinking about in terms of working with us. So just as I said, if you get nothing else from this, and I hope that's not the case, make sure that you know that when you're creating content, you have that call to action at the end of everything that's being written, whether it's a link to your contact page, whether it's a form that, or a download, et cetera, but make sure that people know what the next step is to work with you. Using keywords, so understanding what it is that you're trying to get across. This is the search engine optimization piece. But remember, readability is the most important thing. You're writing for humans and you're trying to make sure that it is searchable. And Google has consistently told us that if you're writing just for them, they're going to try and catch that, and that is not what they want. And then finally, knowing your audience. So making sure that you're writing not in your own jargon, but in a way that is persuasive and engaging for that audience. So here's our soft middle of the call to action, which is, because I have just told you that we should never have anything without a call to action, I'm going to say, everybody that's on here, we'd love to chat with you about your marketing needs. So I'll give you a little bit more information at the end, but we'd love to schedule a call with you. So the next thing we're going to talk about, this is we've covered reading and writing. And so now we're going to cover our arithmetic piece. We get asked a lot by clients and by potential clients how they should treat pricing, meaning, do you show your prices online? Do you say this is how much a website costs, or this is how much, in the case of Tiffany, who I know is here, how much does personal training cost? And I know that is something that people really go back and forth on. There's different schools of thought on this. Some schools of thought are, well, I don't want to scare people away. I don't want to scare people away. I don't want people to not talk to me if they can't afford it. I'll tell you, on the Spring Insight side, our feeling is we tend to do starting at prices. Our websites start at around $9,000. Our marketing starts at whatever it is at that. And that gives somebody sort of enough information that they can know, what I think the worst case scenario for business owners is to spend a lot of time with tire kickers who really are just not looking for, there's a lot of people out there who are looking for websites that are, that they can get on Fiverr, like a $300, a $500, a $1,000 website. That's a perfectly legitimate desire. It's not something that we can help. So for us, sharing pricing is something that sort of avoids those conversations. Now, one thing we've been working, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time though talking about, we've been working with a lot of our clients on, is providing attribute based pricing with custom calculators. And what that does is, for those people who have a little bit more of a nuanced product and want to give a little bit more information about pricing, it gives that information. And what I think it does most importantly is it really gives people a better understanding of what are the elements that influence pricing. So we just created one of these for an accountant, for a CPA that we work with. And so for them, it was understanding, well, when you're offering CPA services, what are the pieces that actually influence the price? It might be number of transactions. It's probably number of meetings that we need to do per year. It's the number of accounts that need to be maintained. So it can ask questions, and then based on those questions, give a result. So we're finding for a number of our clients that is a really useful way of giving pricing, and we make it clear that this is an estimate, but at least it does give the customer an understanding of what are the things that change pricing versus what are the things that don't. So these are so this is just a little bit more about creating that custom calculator and what that looks like. We found it to be really, really successful with a lot of our clients, because with a lot of our clients, as I said, they don't necessarily want to have that sort of initial pricing conversation. They want to like get that hard work done. The other thing that we haven't done this yet for a client, but certainly can be done, is to have one of these calculators that calculates the information, but then says, hey, we're holding on to, we've got your results, give us your email address and we'll send them to you. And what that does is then you're not only providing that information, but you're actually making sure it's a conversion play, because to be able to get the answer, you're not getting it on the fly, you're getting it sent to you. So you now have the information of the person who's getting that. So we're seeing a lot of interest in that. That's something that we've been doing with a lot of our clients recently. So as we said, we've got some information on our website. So we would love to, we'd love to set up a chat with you if that's something that you're interested in. And the final thing that we're going to talk about, and for those of you, good job, you stayed until the end so you can hear about our most underutilized product, and that's our web audit. This is something that we do for free. You can actually sign up on our homepage. You just put your name of your organization in and your email address, and we'll do a website audit. It gives you some basic information about the optimization, experience, search engine, some of that, performance and security. You would be surprised. You'll likely be surprised by the results. Some of these are automated, others are manually done. But it's a really great way of getting just some outside eyes on the website. And what I really like about it, and why I tell people, why I am always so encouraging of people to really get in there and to get this done, is because our goal is to give you things that you can focus on now. These are things that you can change right away, and things that, okay, well, maybe when you start to think about redesign, here are some areas of opportunity for you. The user experience and conversion optimization, those are a little bit more on the manual side, whereas search engine optimization and performance and security, those are fully automated. You will be able to find out, the computer basically takes a look and sees how fast your site is, et cetera, et cetera. And these are things that, as business owners, you just don't realize necessarily, that the performance of your site just slows down. It's one of those weird things that, as newer technology comes, or as you add things, that's what you'll find out. So I'd really encourage everybody to take advantage of this. As I said, this is a free service that we provide. Obviously we follow up with you, and we do use it as a sales tool, but to use it, it's free. And it's one of those things that gives you a grade right away on some of the marketing things that we've been discussing throughout. So I'd love to, our final call to action, which is I'd love to chat with you further and, talk specifically about any website questions you have, or marketing questions that you have. And I'm super happy to take any questions that people might have on anything that I've chatted about today. Hey, Carl. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. It's always good to hear things over and over again and to revisit. Call to action. You have phone number, you have email, you have contact us form. What's your take on bot-based direct chat?
We have seen it work. We've seen it work very well. And I think my preference is, I don't think, so the bot-based direct chat, I'm not as big of a fan of, mostly because it's just not there yet. It's not able to answer the kinds of questions that people are naturally asking. And I think it creates a lot of confusion. Like it can create negative feelings, right? Like I want to ask a question and if I don't realize that it's bot based. Now the ones that are bot based, but that can eventually get you to an agent, I think those work. I think those are actually can be pretty good. And we've seen pretty good conversion with that. It certainly is. I've actually, I'll be 100% honest. I have been surprised that the adoption curve has been as slow as it has been. With that, I think, the organizations that we work with tend to be a little bit on the smaller side. So a lot of them aren't able to commit to having somebody available all day. And so maybe that's why we sort of see, although there are ones that, convert it into email. And so it doesn't have to be completely synchronous. But I am surprised that I'm not seeing more websites with that sort of real-time interaction, even now. So I would be curious, and I haven't read a lot of studies on it, if people are not getting the kinds of conversion they think. But our experience has been that it works pretty well. Carol, does that answer your question? I think I answered it 4 different times and in 4 different ways. But
yeah, and the distinction that I took away from your answer, which I appreciate, is the large company versus small company, and I'm inferring how complex the questions are as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly right. For an organization that is able to have someone dedicated to be able to be available to answer something, let's say within 10 minutes, it does work, I think, very, very well. And, it's interesting. You guys, there's always certain industries that you look at and you're like, okay, these are industries that you watch because these are people who tend to be early adopters of certain technologies. I don't think we have too delicate of an audience, and I'll say that one of the earliest ones was for web was porn. The porn people, like, they figured everything out way in advance. And I'll make this is not such a graceful transition, but lawyers is now one that I would say, like, you see, one where you will absolutely see the adoption of this kind of technology. If you go to, let's say, an immigration attorney or a family law attorney, somebody who's very busy, you will absolutely see that kind of technology. And where I also see it a lot is where people are paying for their traffic. So you've gotten Google Ads, and it's being sent to someplace where they're able to answer that in real time, and it's for a very specific reason, because, as you know, Carl, the different people are using their sites in different ways. For some people, it's really social proof. It's not necessarily interactive. It's not really necessarily capturing all those leads. For other people, no, this is a working site and it needs to capture leads, and that is definitely true if you're paying for that traffic to come to your site. And so that's why those sites where if they're getting a lot of their traffic through Google AdWords and are therefore, paying $7, $12, $25 for anybody who gets sent to that page, they want to have that call to action that is really obvious that they are going to convert. So
thank you. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right. Thank you. I hope that we will see some requests from everybody to get a website audit. Just feel free to go to the homepage and put in your information. Have a great day, everybody.